dear Dolly Polly, shut your eyes, lie still, lie silent, utter no cries as the witcher.
Born on February 24, 1985, Gwen Amber Rose Aroujo was born as Edward Arroyo Jr. to Edward Arroyo Sr. and Sylvia Guerrero in Brawley, California. During Gwen's childhood as Eddie, a lot of it was spent by her sisters dressing her up in girls' dresses and putting makeup on her. While to some of the family this was looked down upon, Gwen's mother chalked it up as kids playing around. It wasn't until several days later, when coming home to celebrate the success of getting a job, where Sylvia would find Gwen wearing a bra and makeup. This led to many fights between the two because of how Gwen would carry herself in society. However, in 1999, when Gwen turned 14, she came out as transgender, and her family was accepting of it. Though her family was accepting, many people in society weren't. She was bullied constantly in school because of her voice and her appearance, which eventually made her drop out. But the bullying would be the least of her future problems. Around late August, early September, Gwen met Michael Madison, Jose Morel, Jaron Neighbors, and Jason Cazares one night. The five hung out and smoked marijuana together. Later on sometime, she became intimate with Michael Madison, performing oral sex on him, and with Jose Morel, having anal sex with him. Each time when both men tried to engage in vaginal sex, Gwen either claimed she was on her period or she would push their hands away from her crotch. This was mainly due to hide the secret that she was biologically a man. However, suspicions about Gwen's identity started to arise, and it eventually led to her getting into a fight with Jose Morel's brother's girlfriend, Nicole Brown, when she challenged Gwen to strip for the men in order to prove that she was a woman. On October 4th, 2002, in the early morning hours, while attending a party at a house rented by Jose Morel and his brother, Gwen was confronted once again. Michael Madison asked her if he could see her genitals, but Gwen refused. So by Nicole Brown's suggestion, she and Michael Madison took Gwen into the bathroom, where during a forced inspection, the truth was finally revealed. Surprised by the discovery, Nicole Brown shouted out, "It's a man." After which, Michael Madison and Jose Morel, the two men Gwen previously had a sexual encounter with, became violently enraged. Gwen tried to leave the party, but was forced back inside by the men. It was then, according to testimony and many sources, that Madison and Morel, the two men who Gwen had sexual encounters with, began to violently beat her up. And though Gwen apologized and begged for them to stop, the assault continued. They beat and strangled her, then tied her hands and ankles together, placed her in the back of a truck, where they drove to El Dorado National Forest in El Dorado, California, 4 hours away from Newmark, where the attack occurred. They dug a shallow grave and buried Gwen. The next day, after Gwen didn't contact her mother, she called the police to report Gwen missing. However, police didn't take Gwen's case very seriously until they were contacted on October 9th by Gwen's aunt, who heard a rumor that Gwen had been outed as transgender during a party the night she disappeared. It was also during that time that a friend of Jaron Neighbors tipped off the police saying Jaron had confessed to them about the events that took place during that night. So the police wired Jaron's friend to record Jaron confessing. On October 15th, after being confronted with the recording, Jaron led the police to where they buried Gwen's body. Afterwards, Michael Madison, Jose Morel, Jaron Neighbors, Jason Cazares, and Paul Morrell were arrested and charged with murder. However, charges against Paul Morrell were dropped the next day after his younger brother Emmanuel and his girlfriend Nicole Brown came forward to the police and proved that he had left with them before the assault on Gwen ever began. The remaining men, however, were all charged, and it goes as follows. Jaron Neighbors pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 11 years in prison. He was released in 2015. Jason Cazares eventually pled no contest to voluntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 6 years in prison. He was released in July of 2012. Jose Morel was found guilty of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 15 years to life. But after 14 years and with the support from Gwen's mother, Sylvia Guerrero, he was granted parole and released. And finally, Michael Madison was found guilty of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 15 years to life. He is currently serving time at Valley State Prison and will be eligible for parole on October 12, 2019. During the trial for Gwen's murder, defense tried to argue that the men reacted the way they did because of gay trans panic after it was revealed that Gwen was biologically a man. But that was still no excuse for the way they did this person. Gwen Araujo is buried at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles, California. She was 17 years old.
My dear daughter,